Hey guys, so today is going to be a first impressions get ready with me type video. I'm going to use the Wet n Wild products that I showed you in yesterday's haul video. If you want to see swatches of the new Wet n Wild products, I did that in yesterday's video. So today is just going to be these products in action and what my first impressions are. Okay, so all I've done so far is I just put some Lip Smacker Tsum Tsum Minnie strawberry flavored lip balm on my lips. My lips have been really dry lately, and I think it's because it's been like so cold and the heat is running constantly that it's really drying out my lips. So that's all I have on so far. Now, normally the next product that I would use would be a face primer. And but before we do that, as I showed you in yesterday's video, I bought the new Wet n Wild Photofocus foundation in two different shades because I really wasn't sure what color to get. It's so hard when you order online. So I got Rose Ivory and Shell Ivory, and when I swatched them, they were really, really light. Now, I am light. I have nothing on right now, so you can see that my face is a lot lighter than my neck and chest area, and it's better to match your foundation to this area because then you won't have the contrast, but I think I may have gone too light because you can see that both these foundations are lighter than that area. They're more of a match for my face area. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a couple swatches on the jawline area, which is where you're supposed to test out your foundation. And like I showed you in yesterday's video, these have like a paddle type applicator, which I don't like, but whatever. It is what it is, right? Okay, so this one is Rose Ivory. So I'm just going to take a dab of that and run it along here. Yeah, that's really, really light. Okay, so that's the Rose Ivory. Yeah, that's too light. Well, hopefully the other one will be better then. This is Shell Ivory. This looks like it's a tad darker and a tad warmer. Rose Ivory is supposed to be, I think it says right on here. Yeah, Rose Ivory is supposed to be for light, cool tone skin. And Shell Ivory is supposed to be for fair, neutral skin. So, we shall see. Okay, I'm gonna swatch this one over here. I think this one is going to be better than that. See, there's a lot more contrast here than there is there. Alright, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to go with the Shell Ivory. I'm really glad that I bought two because I was just going to get the Rose Ivory one, and something was telling me, you know, don't do it, get a couple of shades. So I have some makeup wipes here. So I'm just gonna remove those swatches. So you know that I tried the L'Oreal Infallible Pro Cover, Total Cover, something like that recently, and I was saying about how my skin was getting really dry. I wasn't using a primer under it. I didn't think of it because I had been using a BB cream and a powder foundation before that. So the BB cream would act like a primer, and then all of a sudden I was like, ugh, I had like an aha moment. So now I've been back to using a primer again. I've been using the e.l.f. Hydrating Face Primer. So that's what I'm going to put on right now. And I'm going to do 2 pumps because my skin has been really dry lately. And I just use my fingers. And my face is going to get red because you're like stimulating the surface of the skin so the blood comes to the surface. So it's going to get more red as I do this. But it'll settle down after a while. So now I have even more discoloration and uneven pigmentation than before, but yeah, it'll settle down. I just want to make sure that I blend that in really well, because I've never used this foundation before, so I'm also giving it a chance to sink in better. Okay, the next product that I usually use is my City Color Correct and Perfect palette. And I use the pink corrector under my eyes. And again, I just use my finger and I put that right on the dark circles. See the difference that made? Now watch this dark circle now as I put this on here. I'm going to feel really bad when this runs out because even when my makeup is done, I still have dark circles, but it's still a heck of a lot better than before I started. So see, that does make a difference. So that's what I do next. Then I do the foundation. Alright, so we're going to go with the Shell Ivory. And like I was saying in yesterday's video, this is supposed to be a good foundation for doing selfies, taking pictures, and you're not supposed to have any issues with flash or a weight cast or anything like that. You know what? I've never used this before, so let's give it a shake. Alright, so let's see, what am I going to use? Am I going to use a brush? I'm going to save, I've already got my Beauty Blender damp and ready to go. I'm going to use that for the concealer. So for the foundation, I'm going to use a brush. And lately I've been using this brush for my foundation, and I'm so sorry, I don't know the name of it. It isn't printed on the brush. I picked it up at Ulta, I don't know, probably like a year ago, and I don't really remember what the brand name was or anything like that. But, you know, whatever you use for a foundation. Okay, so I'm gonna put some of this on the back of my hand, and I have no idea like how much I need to use, so somebody's gonna want to know about the smell of this. It has pretty strong smell, so that's not a good thing. It isn't a bad smell, but I just like it better when the foundation doesn't have a smell. So I'm going to dip this brush like right on the edge and pick up a small amount because I have no idea what to expect as far as the coverage goes. Okay, right off the bat, I can tell you this is like a medium coverage, I would say. I mean, it's covering everything, but I've been using that L'Oreal foundation lately, and that's super high coverage. This is more like a medium. It's covering the redness pretty well, though. I'm actually surprised that it's covering as well as it is, considering how thin the consistency is. It's a very liquid consistency. Well, that didn't end up being too bad. It's actually a pretty good color match after all. It does match my face better than it does my neck and chest area, so now my face is lighter. But it is a pretty good color match for my face. Now we can kind of get around that issue by using some bronzer after I do, you know, some more products on here. Yeah, that's actually a pretty good match for my face. But I probably should have gone one shade darker to go with my neck and chest. I've been doing that lately. I did the same thing with the L'Oreal. The L'Oreal one matches my face better than it does my neck and chest area, and I need to take that into consideration when I'm buying foundations, that it might be better if I go just a little bit darker, and that way I don't have to try to get around the problem by fixing it with bronzer at the end. Okay, so now that we have the foundation on, let's go in with the concealer, because I bought the concealer too. There weren't a lot of choices on the concealer colors. This is light ivory, and what I noticed this morning is that the light ivory concealer is actually a tad darker, I think, than the foundations that I bought, which is not good. You want your concealer to be lighter than your foundation, but I think this was the lightest one that they had, so I didn't really have a choice there. So we'll just go with it and see how it goes. And it has a doe foot applicator. So I'm going to do the dark circle area. And I've been doing the upside down triangle thing lately. And this feels like it's not that wet of a consistency, so I'm just going to do the application part one eye at a time, because I have a feeling this is going to dry quickly. Not bad, not bad. Now, I don't set my concealer with powder, because when I do, the powder will go into the dark circles and any fine lines that I have and just emphasize everything. So if you have dry skin or you're an older person, you might want to consider giving up the powder. I don't powder my face for the same reason. The only time I do use powder is if I use it in conjunction with a BB cream. If I use a BB cream, then I do use a powder foundation to set it, and I use MAC Studio Fix Powder Foundation. That's one of the only powders that I can get away with using that doesn't settle into the fine lines and do that. But other than that, I try to stay away from powder as much as I can. I do use a powder, blush normally, highlighter, and bronzer. It seemed to blend pretty well. Worked pretty good. You guys see me all the time and you know how bad my dark circles usually are, so that was pretty good coverage. I'm kind of surprised. I wasn't expecting much from this, and the color ended up being okay too. So that was the Wet n Wild Photofocus Concealer in Light Ivory. So that worked pretty well. Okay, now the next thing I'm going to do is face contour, and I'm going to use the Maybelline Master Contour V-Shape Duo Stick in Light. So I'm going to twist that up. This has a highlighter on one side and a bronzer on the other. So I'm going to use the bronzer. And let's see, what am I going to use for a brush? I'm going to use... Let's use this. This is a City Color brush. It's sort of like a dupe for those artist brushes. And I'm just going to put some of that on the brush from the bronzer side. Like that. And then blend it out. Okay, for a blush today, I'm going to use this Wet n Wild Color Icon Ombre Blush in a Purple Haze. And this, I believe, is only at Target. And it's a pink and purple ombre blush. And let's see. And then I'm just going to use this e.l.f. brush. And I'm going to swirl that in both the pink and the purple. And then I'm going to go right like into the bronzer and up and out a little bit. So I'm kind of merging the blush with the contour. Okay, now the reason why I used this blush is because we're going to test out the new Wet n Wild Color Icon Rainbow Highlighter. And this is only on their website. This isn't in stores. And it's in Unicorn Glow. And here we go. So that's why I used that blush, because I thought that would look good with this highlighter. Now, one of you had suggested yesterday in the comments section that I use a large fan brush, because I was saying that I didn't have a brush that would be appropriate for this. I was going to get the large e.l.f. square brush it's that huge brush that they have. And when one of you had suggested a large fan brush, I thought to myself, well, that's not going to be big enough. You're absolutely right. It is big enough, because look, this brush is the same width as the highlighter. Okay, so I'm going to sweep this brush from side to side right across. So I guess I don't have to buy a brush after all. Yay, thank you. and I'm trying to press so I can pick up the product. And I'm going to go right across my whole face. If you want to use all the colors, you kind of have to. So yeah, I have a feeling this is going to be really subtle anyway. Which is kind of good, because do you really want your face to look like this? I mean, you know? And I'm pressing pretty hard with that fan brush. Set that down so I don't drop it. Okay, so that's really subtle. It is pretty though, I can just barely see it. So this isn't going to give you anything crazy. Actually, the Hard Candy Troll one that I got as part of that Trolls Limited Edition collection, I feel like that showed up better than this is. But yeah, I don't really want this to be like wham in your face anyway. Okay, so just to show you how I can adjust this foundation problem being too light in comparison to this area, I'm going to use my Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer, and this is the light one. And I'm going to use, let's use this. This is an e.l.f. Blending brush. This bronzer is really subtle. I'm going to go right along the perimeter of my face. This is going to help. Okay, so now that I added the bronzer, that kind of helps adjust a little bit. And once I take my hair down at the end, it'll look more natural too. Okay, next I'm going to do all my eye makeup off camera. Then I'm going to come back and apply one of the new Wet n Wild liquid lipsticks. So I will be right back. Alright, so I decided to go really wild and dramatic on the eyes because I was trying to tie in something with this color scheme of the highlighter. I was saying yesterday in the haul video that this might not be something that you could use with just anything in terms of makeup colors, but as it turns out, it didn't really end up being as dramatic on the face as I thought it was going to be, but I just decided to go for it anyway. And I will list all the products that I used on my eyes along with everything else in the description box, just like I always do. Okay, so I got 3 of the liquid lipsticks from the new line of the Liquid Catsuit matte lipsticks. And I decided today to go with Rebel Rose. I thought this would be the one out of the 3 that would look the best. In yesterday's video, I had on the Mocha one, and then I still need to try out the Goth Topic one. And you will see when I put this on how smooth and creamy and awesome these are. So it has a doe foot applicator. Wow, that is just like my lip color. So that's like a My Lips but better for sure. Wow, I can't believe it. It's almost exactly the same color as my lips. I didn't know that was going to be the case. Well, I guess I don't have to worry about this clashing with my look or anything. That's a really very natural color. So, alright, let me go take my hair down and I'll be right back. Alright, so that is the finished look, and as far as my first impressions of these products, of course, I won't really know what I think of the foundation until I've had it on for a day. I mean, as far as how it feels on my skin, it feels quite natural. It doesn't feel heavy or anything. I think it looks very natural. I think that once I got the bronzer on there, it helped make the color adjust a little bit better. But the coverage seems to be pretty good. I'm happy with it. But yeah, with foundation, you really don't know how you feel about it until you've tried it for at least a week, or at least I don't anyway. But my first impression of it is that I like it a lot. And the concealer covered and meshed with the foundation way better than I expected it to be. For some reason, I wasn't expecting to like the concealer. Probably only because I've really been enjoying the Tarte Shape Tape that I got recently. So I'm really shocked that I like the concealer as much as I do. The liquid lipsticks, I knew they were going to end up being just like the ones from those limited edition collections. So I knew I was going to like those. But, so I'm very happy with everything that I bought. The only thing that I think is going to end up not working out is that rose ivory shade of the foundation. But you never know. I'm going to try that again. I'm going to try it another day and then do the whole bronzer thing and just see how it is. But I think the shell ivory one ended up being a pretty good match, as it turns out. So you can't always tell, I guess, by doing those swatches on the side of your face. So that's it, you guys. Like I said before, all the products that I used, the more you play with your hair, the worse it's gonna look. All the products that I use will be listed in the description box. And thank you so much for watching and subscribing, and I'll see you next time. Bye.